Many people out there are probably wondering, is this movie really worth it? I mean, it is 3 hours long. Sit through this movie and pay attention to see whether or not it's good or not. Some people are saying it's kind of A lot of critics don't really. Some of the critics like it, some of the critics don't. To me, I actually liked it. I thought it was pretty good. Okay, so Cloud Atlas. It's not really a complex story. It's just a movie you have to pay attention to, since it's not there's different timelines in the movie, and they're not telling it linearly in order. They're just mixing them up and like putting them in random order, intercutting them. But if you just focus and just pay attention, it'll all make sense. There's no specific order, but once you get to the end, it all will pretty much make sense of what pretty much order everything is in. You know, you can put it up in your mind the timeline of the linear timeline of how it should really go. But yeah, if you just pay attention, it'll all make sense. Overall, yes, I did like this movie. It had some really good actors. It was fun and funny at the same time to see these actors play multiple roles. They didn't, for each individual story, they didn't just hire different actors. They hired the same people to play random characters through every single story. And it was funny to see them do that. I mean, I don't mean to spoil anything, but it's funny seeing Hugo Weaving play a woman in one storyline. It was hilarious. As much as he was playing it straight and it was really like a tough, a Nurse Ratched-like character, it was just hilarious. It was good. However, this might be a little bit of a nitpick or a little bit of criticizing, but it was kind of noticeable that some of the actors were kind of doing what one critic called a high school accents, where high school students in plays do like these kind of cheaply done accents for their roles. And you could kind of notice that, particularly with Tom Hanks. Although he does somewhat of a good job, it's just kind of noticeable that it's fake and that he's just putting it on. But that's just kind of, it's not really a bad thing or a really big thing, it's just something that's noticeable. The special effects, of course, were cool. The makeup was actually pretty well done. However, for one actress, I don't know her name, but she's like an Asian actress. At one point, she gets makeup on her face to make her look like a Caucasian, like British woman, whose father is Hugo, another character of Hugo Weaving. And as best as they did, you could still tell that she's like an Asian actress. And again, it's not really bad. It's just something that kind of took you out of the movie. Is like I can notice that she's not who she's playing on the screen, but even though, yeah, she did a good job, it's just, again, it's just something that's noticeable. It's not really bad, but it's just something that, it was a nice attempt by them. I'll give them that, but it's just something noticeable. The stories were good. Each individual story was good. I liked how each one was a different type of story. Like, for instance, the 1972 story with Halle Berry is a mystery suspense, like, thriller. The story of the Sumni 451 in Korea is like a sci-fi action movie. The story of the lawyer in the Sailing Across the Sea is kind of like not really a historical drama, but a time period drama, and how the story of the songwriter is kind of like a love story / drama story, and how I guess I would say, I'm not too sure if that's the correct word for this storyline, but the Barbarian storyline with Tom Hanks, it's kind of it's kind of like a not really, kind of a BC storyline, kind of just it was nice how they treated it differently. I guess that was probably like a journey story. Kind of like not really a fantasy, almost slightly fantasy, medieval fantasy storyline with that one. So it was cool how they did that, and the intercutting between each storyline was nice. However, it got slightly annoying, but at the same time good, was that as one story got really interesting, you were kind of wondering what's going to happen next. They cut to a different story, and you're like, oh, come on, you get interested in that story. Then they cut to another, you're like, I want to see what happens. What's going to happen? But they cut to another story to try and continue on from that story. But it was interesting. It was kind of interesting seeing they cut back and forth, and that's where you have to start paying attention. That's where paying attention comes in handy. Because if you pay attention to the movie, you wouldn't really mind the intercutting of the different storylines, because okay, this storyline is leaving off from earlier where it cut to this storyline, and now this and that, and you can see how each different thing is. Actually, all the stories are very much connected, and if you pay attention, you can see how they are all connected. Like something that happens in one story will affect another story, or actually is referenced in another story, or has a big how should I put it, a big kind of factor in another story, like a major plot point in another story. So that was cool. It was interesting. You don't really get to see movies that's directed by 3 different people, or nonetheless 2 different people, and you really didn't notice any different style. But I don't know. I only know the Wachowski's type of directing, because I've seen their movies before, not just Matrix. But there's this other director, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I may not know his different style of directing, but when you watch the movie, you can't tell. Well, somebody out there who's more knowledgeable of these directors' styles of acting will probably notice, but I myself didn't. I didn't notice any difference in pattern or style at all. It just seemed very seamlessly. So that kind of helped with the paying attention part, where your mind didn't get too confused. It just, because the directors didn't do their own type of style, they all focused on one type of style for all the stories of how to direct it. It helped with with paying attention and keeping your mind focused on each individual storyline. Let's see. Excuse me. The ending was good. I'm not going to reveal anything about the ending, but when you get to the ending, you can see how all the stories link up. You can see how one event leads into one event from one story, kind of like ripples throughout the ages and basically through the sea of time, and how it affects all the stories and how everybody is related to a story. It was pretty good. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. Like I said, the acting was good, directing was good, writing was good. I was very impressed with this story. I really wanted to read the book. I still do want to read the book after seeing this movie. I'm currently reading other books, so I can't read it at the moment, but I really do want to read this book. And I actually went to Barnes & Noble afterwards just to look at the book, and the book is kind of like the movie where it's kind of intercut, but it's kind of like they tell half the story, for the first half of the book, they tell half of each individual story. Then the center of the book is one story, and they tell the whole story of that one, and then the other half of the book is the ending of the other stories. And that's kind of interesting, because again, you have to pay attention. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to read the book. I'm still kind of debating on what should I rate this movie. I was strongly going towards 3 stars when I was walking out the movie, but I have to say, I think I'm gonna have to go with 3.5. I'm kind of barking it down just a little bit. I'm not going full 4 because it was a great movie, but it wasn't fully fantastic. It wasn't something that really be award worthy. Maybe, I guess is what I'm probably saying. But I guess 3.5. They really put a good effort in there trying to. That's why I'm giving it 3.5. I'll say this: I'm giving it a 3.5 because they gave good effort to try and get you to pay attention to the whole thing and not get confused by everything. And it was also a different story. It's something you don't really see all the time. In a way, it's kind of reminiscent of Pulp Fiction in a way, or how Quentin Tarantino kind of didn't tell a linear story. So yeah, I liked it. It's very noteworthy. So yeah, 3.5 stars out of 5. Yeah, I really did enjoy it. I hope to get it on the home video and read the book and see kind of the difference between the two. If you guys didn't think it was good or have any opinions about the movie, I actually do. Just write in the comments below. I want to hear what your opinions are for this movie as well. I'm very interested because I know there's some people who don't like the movie or may have not have been to the particular taste. But I do want to hear about it. I want to read what you guys thought about it, and I'll try and reply back to that. All right. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day. Just a note, there is nothing at the end of the credits to the movie, but if you're sitting in a movie theater watching this movie, by 3 hours you probably have a huge hankering to piss. And I did too after watching this movie. So although yes, you can watch the credits has the Cloud Atlas song that is written, not song, melody that is written in one of the storylines, and it is something to listen to. It's a very beautiful musical score, but during the credits, if you have to go to the bathroom, go ahead. There's nothing to really see at the end or during the credits. It's just our normal credits. So thought I'd mention that. All right, have a nice day.